Welcome to the deep dive. Today, let's maybe forget the odds and the betting slips, just for a bit, because we're going to dig into something maybe even more important, the psychology behind sports betting. We've looked into how these betting providers, well, how they design everything, their platforms, their offers specifically to, connect with your emotions.
Right. It's like a hidden playbook.
Exactly. Understanding their playbook, but also the playbook inside your own mind in these moments.
Yeah, our mission here is really to unpack these techniques, shine a light on the subtle stuff, the ways these platforms nudge our decisions.
So you can see it more clearly.
Exactly. Give you that clearer perspective fast, thoroughly, so you can navigate it all with, well, more awareness. It's about seeing beyond just the numbers.
Because placing a bet, it's not just a cold calculation, is it?
Not at all.
There's that buzz, the anticipation, maybe winning, but also the sting if you lose.
Yeah.
Or that feeling, when you're so close on a multi-bet.
Oh.
And what we found is that these platforms, they're not just passive observers of these feelings. They're like actively shaping them.
They absolutely are. And one of the key ways they do this is by cleverly using dopamine.
Yeah.
The brain's reward chemical.
Right. The pleasure hit.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is that just placing the bet itself, especially if it feels a bit risky or impulsive, can trigger dopamine, even before you know if you've won or lost.
Really? Just the act of betting.
Yeah, some studies show the anticipation, that uncertainty, fires up dopamine almost as much as actually getting the reward. It creates this powerful urge to chase that feeling before the result.
Okay, hold on. So it's not just about hoping to win money. The betting process itself can feel rewarding.
Precisely. And the providers, they're masters at keeping that dopamine going. They use what you could call gamification.
Gamification, like making it feel like a game.
Exactly. Think about it. Flashing lights, constant live score updates, those tempting cash out buttons that pop up.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They're not just decoration. They frame betting as this continuous game, not just a series of separate financial choices. It keeps you hooked, looking for that next dopamine hit, even if you're not actually winning much overall.
That explains that feeling sometimes. When you feel kind of glued to the app, finding it hard to stop, it's more than just chasing winnings then.
That's a really crucial point. That gamified setup, triggering dopamine again and again, keeps you locked in. Now, what about when things don't quite go your way, like a loss?
Ah, yes. This is where it gets sneaky, right? They sort of soften the blow, even on a loss.
Exactly right. So imagine you bet, say, $10 and you win back $7. Now, technically, you're down $3.
Yep, you lost $3.
But the app might flash up celebratory sounds, bright colors, maybe text focusing on the $7 win.
Ah, I've seen that.
Psychologists call it a framing effect. How the information is presented changes how you feel about it. That little bit of positive framing, it actually reduces the psychological sting of the loss. Makes it feel more like, a near win or a partial success. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
That little celebration even when you're not actually up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It does take the edge off. It makes you think, okay, well, almost got there, or got something back.
So think about this. How does that feeling, that reframing, influence what you do next?
Well, it probably makes it easier to bet again, right? Because it didn't feel like a proper loss.
Exactly. It lowers your resistance, encourages you to keep going, maybe chase that bigger win to actually get ahead.
And then there's that other feeling, maybe even more frustrating, when you have a multi-bet, like 5 teams and 4 win, but just one lets you down. That if-only moment.
That feeling is incredibly powerful. And it's not accidental that it feels so strong. These near misses, as they're called, they actually light up similar parts of your brain to actual wins.
No way, even though you lost.
Yeah. Your brain registers how close you came to succeeding. It creates this intense feeling of being just one step away. It taps into something called the near-miss effect. Our brains react to almost winning in a way that just fuels the desire to try again.
Like the universe is teasing you.
Kind of. And the betting platforms seem to understand this perfectly. They design things to keep you in that cycle, always feeling like the big one is just around the corner.
It sounds like a slot machine, and the reels almost line up perfectly.
That's a great analogy. It's precisely that. This cycle of near wins, those almost there moments, it's super effective at keeping you engaged. Plays on our natural hope, our tendency to think a breakthrough is imminent, even if the odds haven't actually changed. Reflect on those times you felt that powerful urge to bet again right after a near miss. It's a strong emotional push.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. What about in-play betting? Betting live while the game is happening.
Ah, yes, that's a whole different level of intensity.
Especially if it's your team playing. Emotions are already hot.
That's the key. Live betting plugs directly into that heightened emotional state. The odds are shifting constantly. The game's moving fast. There's this sense of urgency, like you have to act now.
Yeah, things happen quickly.
All these things combine to basically shrink your decision-making time.
Yeah.
And in that state, you're far more likely to bet based on, your gut feeling in the moment rather than cool-headed analysis.
Your heart rules your head, basically. You see a goal or a foul, some momentum shift, and bang, you've placed a bet almost instinctively. Have you ever felt that yourself, that kind of rush, just reacting?
That impulsivity is exactly what in-play betting is sort of designed to encourage. The speed, the immediacy. It bypasses our more careful, rational brain centers
Yeah.
and taps straight into gut reactions, biases, team loyalty, all that stuff.
Okay. And what about those bonus offers? They always look so tempting. Bet $20, get $50 in free bets or something.
But they definitely look like free money, don't they? They create this illusion of generosity.
But there's always a catch.
Usually, yes. You really need to dive into the terms. Often, these free bets have what they call high rollover requirements.
Rollover. What's that?
It means you have to bet your bonus amount, and often your initial deposit too, multiple times, maybe 5 times, 10 times, even more using your own money, before you can actually withdraw any winnings derived from that bonus.
Wow. Okay. So it's not really free then.
Not in the way you might think. Plus, there can be restrictions on the odds you have to bet at, or the types of bets you can make with the bonus. Think of it like a shop giving you a free 10-pound voucher, but you can only spend it after you've already spent 100 pounds of your own cash in the store.
Right. So the free part has some pretty serious strings attached.
Exactly. These bonuses, fundamentally, they're designed to get you betting more, and maybe in larger amounts. To condition you. It's less about rewarding you and more about building betting habits. Always, always worth checking that fine print.
Makes sense. And lastly, let's just touch on the design of these apps and websites themselves. They're often so slick, so easy to use.
Frictionless. That's the term often used. And that frictionless design, it's very deliberate, very effective.
How so?
Well, think about features like infinite scroll, just constantly showing you more and more betting options without you even having to click.
Yeah, you just keep scrolling.
Or push notifications pinging your phone about game starting, odds changing.
Gets your attention.
And instant deposits. Putting money in takes, seconds? All these things remove the barriers, the little pauses between having a thought, maybe I'll bet on this, and actually doing it.
So they basically pave the smoothest, fastest road possible to placing that bet. Remove anything that might make you stop and think twice.
You got it. By minimizing friction, they increase the chances of you acting on impulse. That ease of use, while convenient on one level, can definitely work against, more considered, thoughtful betting decisions.
Okay, so we've taken this deep dive, looked under the hood at the psychology. What are the main things people should really take away from all this?
I think the single most important thing is just awareness. Knowing these tactics exist. Remember, betting providers are businesses, and like any business, they're optimizing for engagement and profit.
They're not doing it out of kindness.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So understanding these psychological nudges they use, that's your first line of defense. It empowers you. Recognizing when you might be subtly influenced allows you to step back, take a breath, and make a more conscious choice.
So next time you feel that pull, that urge to bet, maybe just ask yourself.
Exactly. Ask, okay, wait, is this a logical bet based on what I know? Or am I feeling pushed into this by the app's design or a near miss or that bonus offer? Just that pause, that moment of reflection can make a huge difference.
We've certainly dug into the mind games behind the game today. It's definitely about more than just the odds on paper.
It really is. And maybe, just as final thought to leave you with, start noticing these tactics elsewhere.
Oh, like where?
Well, think about other apps, social media, online shopping, platforms designed to keep you scrolling, clicking, engaging. You might be surprised how often you spot these same psychological principles at play, trying to shape your behavior.
Interesting. Food for thought. And that's the real value of a deep dive like this, isn't it? Getting that knowledge quickly and thoroughly so you can see things a little more clearly.
Absolutely.
Until our next exploration.